Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Damon Hatfield. The giant gaming conference, E3 2013, is almost here, and for the past few weeks we've been discussing the big three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. Today we're going to cover the rest, third-party game publishers like Ubisoft and Activision, and then we'll talk about PC-exclusive titles. With me now is Marty Sliva, Steve Butts, and Anthony Gallegos. This is E3 2013 Game Watch.
E3 2013 Game Watch. Watch Dogs, Destiny, and more.
Okay, let's start with console games. Games you're looking forward to that aren't published by Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. Let's start with you, Marty.
Okay, so my number one is going to be Final Fantasy 15, which Square has confirmed is going to be at the show. And
please look forward to E3.
And as of now, we know nothing about it. I mean, and so, everyone's speculating right now. Is it going to be what Final Fantasy Versus was? Is it going to continue the whole Fabula Nova Crystallis? Is it going to be based on the Agnes Prophecy tech demo that was released before? And one of the reasons I'm also really hyped, my favorite Final Fantasies are 6, 9, and 12. So I'm assuming the rule of threes say that 15 is going to be another great one.
Ooh, how do you feel about Final Fantasy 3, though? Is it breaking the rule?
Well, 6 was 3 in America, so I'm sure that's fine.
Okay, still works out.
Yeah, exactly. And, we have no idea. We can assume it's going to be next gen. I doubt they're going to announce a game, for current gen this year. But, yeah, I don't know. Are you guys Final Fantasy fans?
I assume it would be current gen and next gen.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
Yeah,
I think we'll see very few games announced at E3 this year. There will be next-gen exclusives, very few.
But if it's coming 2 years from now,
maybe that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but there will be a few of those. But a lot of the games we'll see, I bet you will all be within these are all coming within the next year. I don't think very many games will be announced as 2 years out this time around.
And it's also, 13 was, the first game in a long time that went away from Sony console and was on the 360 as well. So, people are speculating, is this going to be on both consoles? Is Sony going to somehow get the exclusivity again? Yeah, I don't know. Square always knows how to put on a show. Whether or not the games end up delivering, they always get me hyped. So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
So what is it you're excited about? What about Final Fantasy gets you excited?
I think those games I mentioned before really kind of staked their claim for their consoles of choice. So, to me, the Super Nintendo is defined by games like Final Fantasy VI. The PlayStation is defined by the trio of Final Fantasy games. And in my opinion, Final Fantasy XII is the best PS2 game.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Steve, what are you looking forward to?
The thing I'm most looking forward to is actually seeing more of Watch Dogs. By Ubisoft. That's a game we saw last year, and everybody said, wait a minute, that game looks too good.
Yes.
There's no way this is an Xbox 360 or PS3 game.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it sounds like we're going to be seeing it on next-gen consoles.
Yeah, we've never seen current-gen versions of that game. And when people see the current-gen versions of that game, I guarantee they will be disappointed. Yeah.
The game is always demoed where you can't exactly see what it's being run on, right? So I think they're trying to keep some surprise there. But what I really like about the next-gen offering in the case of Watch Dogs is the big console manufacturers have talked about all this extra connectivity they're building into the box, right? And Watch Dogs is a game that's built on new technology. What can you do to live in this connected world and to manipulate and exploit those connections in cool gameplay ways? And I wonder if that's going to be baked into some of the technology that's within the boxes themselves.
You'll be able to do a hacking mini game to hack your friend's Xbox One Connect and then spy on them.
Sure. Or you could be playing the game and then watch The Price is Right and make all the little price things in Contestants Row spell out dirty words. Not a confirmed feature, but who knows? It could be there.
There you go.
No, that game does look really rad, though. I was really surprised by it, because I wasn't really a particularly big fan of the Assassin's Creed games. I totally understand they're great games, but just not for me. But the stuff that they're showing in Watch Dogs is very cool, especially the multiplayer stuff. I want to see more with that, where they're talking about the ability for people to come in your game, and they're not directly competing with you. You may not even ever know they were there, but they're just trying to compete side objectives that may mess with you. I think that sounds really cool.
Yeah, and Ubisoft's really at the publisher at the forefront of having games that are going to appear on both generations. So, Anthony, you said that we haven't really seen the current gen, but I'm kind of curious to see what current gen of Watch Dogs and of AC4 are going to look like compared to next gen.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be a little bit I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being almost entirely separate games in some degrees, like the Splinter Cell Conviction. Was it Conviction or was it Conviction? I forget. The one that came out, that one came out on both Xbox and 360. And when that happened, the Xbox one was a completely separate game.
Double Agent.
Double Agent. Yes, and those games were actually separate games. So that's how they handled that.
Those are both excellent picks. Now, what about PC exclusive titles? Anthony, what should we be looking forward to?
I think the biggest one, that even though it's coming out so close after E3, is Company Heroes 2. Only because that game has a lot to prove for Relic. you know, under THQ, the game was already supposed to come out, which would have been a mistake. Like, even the guys at Relic know that. And so the game's had a little extra time to bake, and now this is like Relic's chance to finally, like, this will be their first post-THQ game, and it really needs to do well for them, because honestly, Company Heroes 1 ended up being profitable in the long run, but I think it took a long time for that to happen. So it's like, it's a miracle that we have a Company Heroes 2. And so I really hope that, you know, everything that they've worked on and had the extra time to work on actually comes together, because Company Heroes 1 is, in my opinion, the best strategy game ever made. So it'd be really great to see Company Heroes 2 overcome that. Yeah, I mean, the guys at Relic really know what they're doing, and I really want this game to succeed, and I want it to be good, because then hopefully we'll get more Relic games under Sega. So.
Well, I'll say I'm also excited to see Rome Total War 2 from Sega. It's weird, if you had told me you'd be going into E3 2013 looking forward to seeing some of the best strategy games of the year
from Sega
at the Sega booth, I'd have been like, what is happening? What has happened to my world, right? But yeah, they've got Company of Heroes 2, which I agree is fantastic. And Rome Total War, I mean, I love the Total War series, and seeing this next installment is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, they'll be definitely pushing a lot of stuff because they know hardware has grown since the last Total War games.
Well, and they've learned a lot from, you know, Medieval and then the remake of Shogun and Empire Total War. Super excited by that one.
So before we break, is there anything else you guys are looking forward to seeing? What about Destiny from Bungie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing something. I mean, so far they've said a lot of great sentences.
Come on, you've seen that giant ball,
yeah,
right?
Amazing sentences. But yeah, I mean, until, you know, I love the game in principle, but until I see it in action, I can't really.
That's how
that bad.
I love the game in principle. IG it.
I'm in that same place, and I would tell everyone to not expect to be utterly wowed with the way that it looks, only because that is a game that is very clearly targeted towards, and they've said so, working on both PS3, Xbox, and next gen. So they're definitely, if they want all those games to interplay in the way that they're talking about and have all those worlds going on that, there's going to have to be some cuts that they make to make it work. But I think it could still be awesome. Like, Bungie, they have the pedigree to make incredible stuff.
I mean, I just really hope it is a really big coming out party at E3 and not just another, oh, here's 10 seconds of gameplay and more, you know, huge promises.
Anything else?
I would say the next Saints Row. Like, honestly, on any platform, like that game just is looking incredible. The things that Volition's been able to do with that, like, you know, those games are always, people don't really think about them, and then they're out, and we all can't stop talking about them because they're incredible. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Too.
Warner's also got a couple of really good superhero games that just, as a comic book fan, really looking forward to. There's the Scribblenauts DC game, which is really cool. There's the new Lego Marvel game, which I'm a sucker for the Lego games. But then there's also Batman Arkham Origins, which is the third installment in Rocksteady's, although this time
that's what I'm saying. That's why I want it to be good, because if it's not Rocksteady, I want to see how someone else handles it.
What we've played is very Rocksteady. We got to play a little bit of it, and it looks and it plays exactly like you know, the Arkham City and Arkham Asylum.
Which I'm kind of mixed on, right? Like, on the one hand, like, oh, great, more of this thing that I love. But on the other hand, shouldn't this be different? Particularly because it's an Origins game, right? I feel like maybe Batman shouldn't be a total badass. I talked about this in the Rewind Theater for the trailer with Greg Miller, and it's like, he just seems like just the same old tough guy.
So you're saying like a little bit of Christian Bale where he gets beat up and has to like struggle back to his house because he's like, oh, that fight went worse than I thought it would.
Maybe that doesn't work like from the standpoint of like wish fulfillment as a video game character, but at the end of the day, he doesn't seem that much different than the Batman we've played in the other two installments.
I mean, I'm a little worried that it's going to turn into kind of like how we view Assassin's Creed, to where the jump from 1 to 2 was so great. The jump from, you know, Asylum to City was so great, and I don't know if that leap's going to be here, and maybe people are going to get a little tired, and you're going to have finally franchise fatigue.
I feel like we can still get another couple of those games before we're really tired of that formula. So, I mean, those games have been, again, in my opinion, I'm going to throw out another big opinion, those are like the best superhero games. There are no other superhero games.
What about Maximum Carnage?
No, we're going to fight over Freedom Force after this is over.
Well, okay, how about established superhero genres?
All right.
Yeah, they made up their own.
All right, well, thanks, guys. And for you, our fine audience, head to the site below to see the most up-to-date list of games that are confirmed for E3, and let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to. You can also catch the previous game watches at the link below. E3 happens next week, the week of June 10th, so be sure to keep it on IGN for all the latest news. I'm Damon Hatfield, and on behalf of everyone here, thanks for watching.